G'day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Broker Coach podcast. Our mission is to be the most valuable podcast in the universe for mortgage brokers. I am your host, Sam Panetta, and today I'm joined by the amazing Katie Thomas from Focus Finance. How you doing, Katie?
Hey, good. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
That's a pleasure. I'm super excited to have the conversation with you today.
Yeah.
You've seen the questions. There's about 1,000 of them.
There is. Yeah. We'll get through them.
We are going to get through them. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah. You're very popular. Obviously, that's come from the community. That's come from the broken community. All of these questions. So it's actual questions that people once answered. Just to put it into context, Katie, you've won Broker of the Year. Yeah. You've settled nearly $500 million, like only a couple mil off $500 million in 1 year.
Yeah.
And the team at Focus are doing over 100 million a month in lodgements at the moment.
Yep.
Are you a real person?
A real female.
All right. Let's get stuck into this. So, far out. Where do we even start? How do you even structure a business that can handle that sort of volume, Katie?
Oh, you got to have good people. Got to have good people in there. You've got to. There's a lot of skill in so many different facets of the business, I think, and the commitment across the team and energy. They are so purpose driven. Their mission to do the right thing by good customers and do amazingly really drives that result, I think.
And you said to me something the other day, because you're going to typically go for a team lunch on a Friday, is that right?
Yeah.
And you said to me that it was dark humor and chaos?
For sure. 100% it is. Absolutely. The team, absolutely. That it is banter and humor and pranks and whatever else just makes your days enjoyable.
It's just so good. So how is the team structured? How many of us is there in the team?
So there's 25 in the team now.
Okay.
Yeah. Last financial year there wasn't. We've probably recruited another 9 really this financial year.
Just over the past 4 or 5 months.
Yeah. So we're on, which is obviously where more numbers are coming from in this financial year than last financial year. We couldn't have probably replicated. We couldn't have done the numbers that we're doing now. The over 100 mil a month. We wouldn't be doing those numbers now with the prior team. That they would be heavily burnt out. So yeah, we've got more people in there now writing out those numbers, but. Yeah, last financial year, we sort of had a big growth last financial year on people. Now we're kind of transitioning through more people coming in. We'll probably have 30 people, first quarter of next year.
By the time the new year rolls around.
Yeah.
How long have you been in business for, in the Focus business?
Yeah, so I've been a broker for 6 years. I've been in finance for 17 years. Yeah.
And how long did it take you to put this current team together at
2
Focus?
years.
In 2 years' time.
Yeah.
How do you attract and find these really cool people that obviously are high performers, but culturally it's the right fit for you?
Yeah. I think that's probably some of the key to things working, because there's a really old adage that, you hire for culture, train for skill. Early days of a business, you need both. You really can't have one or the other. You need culture and skill, and you need to just accept the fact that not everybody is going to deliver on that, and you need to be pretty granular over your recruitment to get that there. How do you find them? I have been in the industry, as in finance, for a long time. So some of these people I did know over the course of my career, others knew me and they've kind of come in that way. And it's just the outreach of people, I think.
Just a compounding effect of your network.
Yeah, a little bit. Of the last, bunch of, people that we've only really got a couple that have actually come through Seek or, some sort of recruitment means. Most have reached out directly. And so, but that's been just being open to conversations, and they'll be going through different phases of their lives and their roles, and, just being there to have those conversations and have chats and catch up and be social.
And they've just reached out cold to you and they're like, hey, Katie, you're amazing. Like, how do I get involved with this?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Nick Ball, he's with us now. So he wasn't even in the country. So he was actually still in England, and he's been a broker in Australia for a long time. He's been in finance forever. But while he was still overseas, before he was even back in the country, he reached out and said, "Hey, I'm coming back to the country. Can I be there?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can."
If you're going to come all the way from England, you're welcome.
Yeah.
How do you know if someone's going to be a right culture fit? Is there a tell?
Vibe check.
Vibe check. You just feel it in your belly. You're like, nah.
My ops manager's going to kill me for saying that. She's got like such a, beautiful process built out around this, and it's gorgeous. She's done a brilliant job. And then I'll get in there and go, vibes are off, don't like them. It's just like, they're not for us.
Really? So is business more art than science for you?
I feel like for all of the neurodivergent community, I think all of it's creativity and art. It is for sure. There is definitely a level of knowing your craft a little, like for sure. There's definitely an element of going, there is a technical questions in there, but I'm really more gauging their ability to respond to them and how they can handle resilience and what's the tenacity and things like that. But it's still less technical in terms of, going, can you explain to me that one time that you outperformed and what did you do in this situation that you sit there with your clipboard? Not like that.
Have you got better at it over time?
Oh, for sure. I think you also back your intuition more over time.
Because you've proven to yourself that it works and you're more confident in your decision making?
I think your intuition for a long time is probably already right. You just didn't think you had the data to support it. So you go, this person on paper looks sensational and your gut's telling you something different. And you go, well, no, there's this stacks everywhere. Then you hire that person and you go, no, I was right. No. But you trust that more and more. The more you repeat that process, you trust that more and more.
Even if you can't quite put your finger on it, like, I know I feel this way. I can't explain why I feel this way, but I think this is the right answer.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So how many hours a week do you got to work?
I do a normal week, really. But I think this is slightly different. So I love what I do. I love the business. I love the team. I love being a broker. I love the client. Some of these clients I've known for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
So you forget that they're, speaking of, one of them that I did their investment lending for over 10 years ago now works for me. So again, he just reached out. So again, like, more people just come into your world and they become part of your community, and you've known them forever and you've created these relationships, and they start working for you. Probably regrets it now. He works in mine. But they become part of that. So would I consider working if I caught up with that person on the weekend, not even to talk about lending, but we're just catching up and having a chat? Probably not. Like, the line blurs between what is work and life, I think, a little bit, and they become intermeshed a lot because you just love both of it.
Your work and your life become one. It's one and the same mission. It doesn't, it's not like this is when I'm working, this isn't when I'm not working. It's like, I'm just living the whole time.
Yeah.
I happen to be doing productive activity some of those times.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that me saying, and anybody that's currently got a corporate career or doing anything, go work for your employer 60 hours a week? No, I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying that there's, once you're so passionate, I think, about what you're doing, it really does blur the lines of going, well, it's knockoff time now. Like, let's go. I don't feel I work excessively in terms of like a burnout perspective, but it's if you're really enjoying it, you're not really watching the clock either.
That's amazing. Does it feel amazing that that's how you operate, or you've just always operated it like that?
I've operated like that for a long time. I worked for a major bank for 13 years, 12 years, 13 years. and that you probably can build a level of resentment over doing those big hours at that point because you can't really drive the level of change you would like to. Doing it here for me and for my team and my clients who, I have so much love and respect for, totally different, absolutely different.
What drove you to get into business in the first place?
Well, worked for Major for a very long time. And if you've, as brokers, I think you kind of go, well, one policy, one valuation, there's better we could do here.
Yeah.
And by the time I left, I was purely self-sourced. All of my business came from relationships I held. So you feel very, I guess, empowered to make sure that you're getting that done well.
Yes.
Because it's not a cold lead through the bank or a call center or whatever. It's, you're saying to someone, trust me with your clients and I'll do a great job. And then they come there and they go, okay, well, I've got one policy I can offer you at this point. And if that doesn't fit, too bad.
Just structurally better way. And that's what drove you to get into the mortgage side of it, obviously in the broking side of it, I should say. And then straight away you were in your own business?
Yeah. So initially went out I've always had the same, under same ABN, initially with a different company. And then really just merged out of there afterwards. Yeah.
And are the leads today, because obviously there must be a lot of lead flow come through to do the sort of volumes that you guys do.
For sure.
Is it all word of mouth and referrals? The whole business has been built organically like that?
There is all of it. Every relationship you would expect to hold as a broker, accountants, real estate, buyer's agent, there's all, and then the book is self-propagating. That once that occurs, that is difficult to slow down. If you then have quite a sizable client base and theoretically you're good at what you're doing, they want everyone to know about you. They want their family to be dealing with you. The community that they deal with, it takes on a life of its own, and it's almost difficult to stop it. You would either need to shut the book permanently or scale. And we've had the book shut this year more than open.
Really?
Yeah. So scale it is.
This is wild. The gravitational pull here is crazy. So it is. It's like people are just coming and they're just staying. You're like the sun. You just bring it everywhere. The clients, the referral partners, the team. Some of
these referral partners I've worked with for more than a decade.
Right.
Yeah. So, and again though, now if I hang out with those people, I forget that's where that started. We're just hanging out on a Saturday.
They're friends at this point.
Yeah, 100% they are. And I completely forget that I was hanging out with one of a local real estate agent only a few weeks ago, and they were asking how we knew each other, and I was like, oh, we're mates. Hang on. We're supposed to have this very professional relationship, but it just organically grows into that.
And so you've had to scale the team almost out of sheer necessity to handle the natural volumes that are coming through because of the good work that you're doing.
Yes.
Bloody hell. I've never seen it ever in my life.
Really?
Never. Not to this scale. Do you know what I mean? I've seen brokerages that have grown through word of mouth. Do you know what I mean? But not the way that your business has grown. It's it's the $500 million in loan just for you, and then with the whole focus team, what they're writing now. It's never been seen before, Katie.
Yeah, okay.
You don't even think about this stuff? You're like, no, really? Just writing a couple of lines.
We're doing the job, not yapping about it. I don't think, I feel like I've never even entered awards before, or some of them. We had a lovely partnership manager at Connective this year, and she sort of took it out of my hands a little, some of it, because she just sent it in and I didn't even know. And this is the Elite Broker, the number one, when that come out, and this is going to sound really funny now. But the day that come out, Evan Reed, who is a lovely local,
Evan's a friend of mine.
he is brilliant. Love Evan. He sent me a message in the morning saying, saw the news article, congratulations, well done. And I said, because I'd recently done a ResiMac roundtable. So I said, are you talking about the ResiMac thing? And he's like, nah, mate, I'm talking about the one that come out today. I said, I'm going to go have a look. I don't know what you're talking about.
Know what it was.
I didn't know. I didn't know about it. And then he goes, it's the top 100 for elite. I said, am I on it? And he's taken a photo of his laptop and highlighted it for me and sent it over, and he's on number 1, baby. And I was like, oh, shit. Cool.
Far out.
I didn't even know about it.
You're the most salt of the earth person I've ever met in my life. You're just rolling up your sleeves and doing home loans, destroying the entire industry and just obliterating all the competition. Like, I didn't even notice that happened.
Evan obviously found that quite comical because I thought he was talking about a round table.
I'm going to text him as soon as I get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to go, yeah, she's, he's
far out. You mentioned, we spoke before, that the team's writing a lot of the volume now, right? When I spoke about that 100 million a month or so that you guys are lodging. How many brokers are there on the team?
Yep. So we've 3 from last financial year. Mm-hmm. So we had 3. Now we have 5 writing that. But the last 2, so Nick, who I was talking about, he's only been in the business really since August. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of building up. So he doesn't have as much like full pull through yet. And Chloe's just come back from maternity leave. Mm-hmm. So 3 are still writing the bulk of the volume and the other 2 are building.
Okay. And how did you had a $1.7 million average loan size. These are resi loans that you're writing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How do you get a 1.7 million average loan size?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that COVID was fortunate enough to teach us is we don't need to be localized anymore. Mm-hmm. You can go anywhere in Australia. So regardless of where your physical location is, that doesn't mean that's where your clients need to be. And we were fortunate enough for technology to catch up so we can ID appropriately and make sure all of that was in place. And once that occurred, that really opened the doors to national client bases. So it doesn't need to be in Newcastle or Hunter Valley. And, there are obviously clients there, but it doesn't need to stay there. So you can have that bigger deal size in more capital city areas.
Was that something that you'd done on purpose when you saw COVID hit? Did you see that as an opportunity where it's like, hey, I can have a red hot crack at some of the larger loan sizes here?
No.
It just happened. It just turned out like that.
Yeah.
So you're in the Hunter Valley just looking over the winery, just punching out loans.
Yeah. So again, because for the Hunter Valley, and like I said, I've had some real estate relationships, it kind of grew into some of the Sydney siders would buy their weekenders up in the Hunter Valley, and they're pretty sizable properties up there. But then that kind of built out quite a lot. So again, they weren't in my local area either. So that started way back then. And then it just kind of, again, like I said, it self-propagates into relationships you hold. And then you go, well, the relationships don't need to be local either, actually. They can kind of be anywhere. You've just, you know someone who knows someone, and then you build them out. And then once you work out that your values are aligned and you're great people that you just enjoy hanging out with outside of business, the friendships just start to form. And then once that happens, it really does take on a life of its own.
Far out. This is the most amazing example of compounding I've ever seen in my life.
Yep. Yep. Wonder of the world.
I knew this was going to be an interesting conversation. I just far out. Look, there's so many questions here. I want to save a few of them. I want to have a few of them. Here's an interesting one, right? Mm-hmm. Here's an interesting one. And a couple of ladies that I know asked me this question.
Yeah.
Did you ever have any mindset challenges being a female in a male-dominated industry?
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting one. I would never think to ask it, but a few of the girls.
You're a guy.
Yeah, well, 100%. I don't think about that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Maybe not in the way the question was asked. I think they're asking it, and I'm assuming here, but I think they're asking it from, did I feel like they were kind of dominating the industry and we need to, break through that kind of thing? I think from my perspective, it was a little bit more like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me that this should be a more male-dominated industry than females. I don't really see why, we don't have our place here or shouldn't be driving through this. Now, having said that, I'd spent 12 years in banking prior to that, which is also heavily male-dominated in management and higher roles. So that had been my normal for a very long time. As a bank manager, most of the other bank managers were male. Even in business banking, a lot of the males, had business banking backgrounds. So it was kind of my normal for a very long time. I definitely earlier probably had more of a chip on my shoulder, I think, about it than necessarily having a mindset issue over going, I've got to really push through the barrier here. It was more like, well, I feel like you can kind of get out of my way. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like it needs to be, there is a constant assumption if I'm there, and we still have it all of the time. I do have males in my team, obviously, and we'll go into a place where nobody knows us or the business, and they will assume the men are the business owner.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's red hot.
Yeah. For sure. It was really funny. We went to an event not that long ago, and the newest member in the team, who happened to be male, everybody there thought he was the business owner, which we all just obviously ran away with, and then we just started addressing him all evening as the business owner, and just we had a lot of fun with it. But it is still rife in the industry. 100% it is. And I think the only reason or situation where that still occurs is if females don't change that trend.
Do you think it's harder for a woman to dominate in the mortgage game?
No.
No. No, that was my take on it. I was like, I don't, you know what I mean?
No, I don't think it is. I think there's different choices that people make, and both genders have the ability of that choice. It's just whether that's something that you want or not.
Surely like 99.9% of it's something else. Do you know what I mean?
I think that there is, a generational movement there where in those high level roles, corporate banking, management, leaders, business owners, this isn't just mortgage broking. Leaders in general across a lot of industries are still heavily male dominated everywhere. It's not just singled out to mortgage brokers and business owners in our industry. That's across the board. And, look, is there a place for certain personality types to dominate in that space? Absolutely there is. If that happens to be male or female, it doesn't matter. But you do need to have a certain personality type and drive and mission and purpose and energy level to be able to do that. Does that, sit within men sometimes? Yes.
Yeah, I was about to say those are the much more the factors, that personality type, the level of energy, the ability to get along with other people.
Yes.
Like those are things that are surely they make up the bulk of the results for somebody.
100%. I think there are different things that make up the success of those different people, but gender isn't the thing. It just happens that some of those qualities tend to sit in more masculine energy sometimes.
Yeah, I get it. All right, good answer. Ooh, this is a good one. What does an average day look like for you these days?
I don't think it's really that different to most other mortgage brokers, to be honest. I'm sitting here talking to you today. But outside that, I think I talk to clients every day. I talk to my team. I'll have team meetings. I'll have coaching sessions with my team. I'll sit there and wait for them to tell me what I've done wrong so that I can go and fix it. And they do. We have an operations team now, which is in this financial year. So I'll catch up with them and, wait for them to impart their brilliance on what the business is about to be doing. And I'll go, yay, that sounds great. And then execute all of those things. And there's a strategic outlook that we kind of go through, but the bulk of the day is probably no different to most mortgage brokers, I don't think.
It's focused on the loan writing, getting the job done.
Yeah, the team. Like once you're a leader in the team, definitely the clients 100%, but the team, you've got to be focused on your team.
What are the sort of positions in your brokerage today, the way the makeup of the business is today?
Yep. So from kind of end to end of the business, I broke that down into several roles.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really just think of the life cycle of a loan, I just segregated that into about 6 different roles.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant people could kind of enter at any stage of the business based on their skill set. So if we've got a more entry level and you're at front end and you're kind of loading those initial leads and doing pre-reviews and you're kind of just building out the basis of the file, and then you've got more skilled people heavily reviewing that and what does that look like. And then you've got, brokers in there doing the bulk of obviously the client meetings and then recommendations. And then there's your support teams in that as well. Then we've got a settlement team that manages the entire settlement process and then post-settlement. So there is kind of pods between that whole end to end of the client journey, and they're warm relationships everywhere.
And the pods are built based on the stage of the task.
Yes.
Okay. And
the pods are the brokers, but beneath the pods are then the appropriate roles for the stage of the task.
And is there a pod allocated to each broker?
Yep.
Or so is a pod with one of each individual per broker?
Yep.
And then so if you got a new broker in, does that mean you build a new pod to support that broker?
Eventually, that broker, so everybody that we kind of have come in, I generally won't bring in a broker and they're a broker day one. I will bring them into a pod first and they will exist in that pod. We'll coach them from in the pod. We'll make sure that they do everything in the same way we would do it. We're all aligned, and then we'll move them into their own pod.
So people don't typically come into the broker role. They've got to go through the university, the college.
They can come in as a broker, but we will sit them inside another pod first so that they've really got a really good understanding of volume, pace, energy, our sense of urgency. What does that look like? What's our client commitment? What are our mission statements here? What are we doing this for? Why are we doing it? How do we operate? Make sure that's locked down. Once we're assured that that's all good, then we'll move them into their own stuff.
Because I know the culture there's obviously amazing, but there's also has to be a high level of performance because you guys are doing a lot of business. Yeah. How do you juggle performance and culture, or is it one and the same?
It is one and the same.
Yeah.
That they are a team and siblings all at the same time. They are just
stop hitting your sister.
Literally. They are the banter in that if anybody saw how they operated, you go, they obviously grew up together. It's just. And I think it's allowing them the freedom to be like that, though, just as they genuinely are as human beings. And they don't need to come into that work day and go, okay, well, I've got to be this clipped corporate version of myself. I get to just genuinely be who I am. And the team knows me very well as exactly who I am. And the support level, they can be in their own individual pods, but if anybody walked into the business and watched, you'd have no idea who was aligned to who because they would just jump in and help anybody.
They'll help each other out. Yeah, this is crazy. There's 2 offices. We've got Newey and Maitland.
Yep.
Is everyone onshore in the offices?
Yep.
The whole team. And so everyone's coming into the office each and every single day. Yeah, right.
We definitely have work from home days in there as well. And some people are highly productive where they just hyper focus for a day, and that's brilliant for them. Some people go, no, I don't want to do multiple days. whatever that looks like, that's absolutely up to kind of that individual person once they're fully skilled. But yeah, it's definitely more office based, again, purely from culture.
I was going to say, do you think that that's helped to build the sort of culture that you've got, having everyone basically like, I'm just picturing a bunch of kids in obviously not like kids, but like classroom style environment. You know what I mean? Where everyone's there, and that's how you make friends when you're growing up in primary school, because you're just there every day with each other. Is it a similar thing?
It
you think
is.
that's helped to build the
It
culture in the
definitely
business?
does help to do it. Is it impossible to do remotely? No. But it definitely did help for sure.
And was this a conscious decision when you started hiring? You were like, hey, I actually want to be in the office with people that I know, like, and trust, and this is how I want to build the business?
Yes, but that's more my personality type than a conscious business decision, if I'm honest. It's
You
me.
just wanted people in the office with
Yeah.
you.
Just be my friend. Come sit with me.
Were you on your own when you launched the business, or there were
No.
people that started with
No,
you?
I've never been a sole broker. COVID was the closest to what that felt like, and I still had a team, but I was by myself at home with 3 kids.
COVID's the worst. COVID was the worst.
Yeah, that was nuts. But no, I've never really worked alone, nor could I have, because the volumes I've always done pretty much straight out the gate, I would never have been able to do.
It was always good volumes.
Yeah.
3 kids.
And 4 stepkids.
And 4 stepkids, so 7 kids in the house.
No, they're not all in there all the time. So yes, three are in the house.
In
all
the
the
house.
time.
I
Yes.
was going to say 7 kids. I was like, this is in the house at one time.
Yeah.
How do you juggle that? How do you juggle being mum and business owner?
Would you have asked a man the same question?
100%.
No, you wouldn't have.
Yeah.
No one sits there and go, oh, how do you get to be a dad and go to work?
It's not that. I think it's I struggled to juggle it.
It does. Yeah.
I think you do.
100%.
You know what I mean?
I think, and this is genuinely the difference, I think, between genders somewhat, in that mum guilt's a real thing.
Yes.
It is, and we can't pretend it isn't. And biologically, fathers have always been there with a biological driver to provide for their family. And the way they do that is go out and earn money, come home, and that's kind of their role. And that's been a very comfortable space for a really long time. Women have kind of had to go through this process of going, okay, yep, I still get to be a mum and the nurturer and all of those things, but now I do this too and not feel guilty about it. And I don't think we quite get that last bit. There is still an element of mum guilt. There's still an element of going, I wish I was at home an hour earlier that day, or whatever that sort of looked like. But having said that, the flexibility it creates as well from a business perspective, I've never missed a school assembly. I've never missed a sports carnival. I go to all of them. Anything that is pivotal for the kids, their sports and all of those things, I see all of it. So I miss none of those things. And again, that's coming from having such a great close-knit team. They wouldn't want me to miss it either. And for all the other mums and parents in the business, currently only mums, all the boys don't have kids yet, they don't want to miss out on their stuff either. And I would absolutely support them going to all those important moments for their kids. So they don't have to miss out on that either. But there is definitely, I think, a slightly different emotional journey that you go through. Not so much physical, or like the juggling. The juggling's the same on both sides. You know, dads and mums come home and it's been a wild day, and then the kids are climbing the walls, and then you're like, great.
Oh. I can picture it now. Yeah, because I'm obviously going to the Hunter Valley for a little family getaway this weekend. You know what I mean? I've come up into Newey here. My wife knows the only trick to stop me work, because I've got my office at home.
Yeah.
she has to take me out of the house. I have to be removed from that environment, and then I can switch off.
Yeah.
So it is tough, I think, for parents.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely is. And making sure, and we're in a completely different generation now with kids. I think it's, we now have, a lot of people do have 2 income earners. There isn't somebody kind of at home making that all nice and lovely every day. Not everything else is sorted. You're still sorting out the rest of life admin on top of what these jobs are. You don't have someone kind of just doing all that and you just go to work and then go, oh, well, that's it. We're done now. There's still there's still birthday parties to organise, and there's still Christmases and all of the things. You don't just opt out of that. So
no,
it does change, I think, the stresses on family life a little.
We've got heaps going on at home at the moment. My wife the other day, we were trying to get all this stuff done. She's like, oh, this to-do list, we can't get through it. And I'm like, I don't think we're going to get through it. I think this is just how life's going to be forever. And then that's it. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you actually get through the to-do list.
Yeah. Oh, no, you don't. You just get comfortable with writing a new one.
Oh, all right. Oh, okay. This is good. When you were scaling the team at the start, obviously those first hires, you mentioned this earlier, they're the most pivotal, right?
Yeah.
There has to be a culture fit, but they've got to be guns too. They've got to be good at doing the doing.
Mm-hmm.
Who did you hire first? What were the sort of roles that you started within the brokerage?
Support roles.
Support roles?
Really, everybody initially was supporting me as a broker, and then we built them into brokers. So they kind of sat beside me, watched how I did everything, and then we moved them through into their own broker roles.
And would they started off with, maybe settlements and submissions, post-settlement, credit? Was there a particular order in which you trained people up?
Initially, it was more end to end. We would just cover the whole thing, and then volume got to a point where you go, that's not going to happen. So then we kind of cut that up and when one person can't possibly, it's easier for a broker if the broker's kind of just doing client meetings and then a bit of that, but one person's not going to cover that whole process end to end if you're writing significant volume. So then you've got to segment what that looks like.
100%. What was the biggest thing that you think you had to change to go from doing, 10 or 20 million a month to 110 or 120 million a month?
I don't know that it was necessarily a massive change. I liken this to kids as well. And everyone goes, what was the hardest transition, from 1 to 2 or from 2 to 3?
0 to 1.
0 to 1.
Yes, 0 to
Yep. And the business is exactly the same. It's that starting going, okay, I'm a new broker at this point, or I'm a new lender or whatever, I'm a new business owner. Now I've got to train you. I've got to do everything on the back end of the business, all of that. That's the hard bit. And then you kind of naturally start to formulate what this looks like. And yes, you've now got to 2 kids and 3 kids and 4 kids, etc. But it's kind of, I think, I never felt like, and I was never scared of being wrong. I was never worried about going, I'm always going to nail this, guys. It's always going to be perfect. And because I said it, it must be amazing. I never really had that approach. I'd just round table everything with the team. So we'd sit in a boardroom together or the lunchroom and kind of go, I've had a great idea. And they'll go, no.
That is a terrible idea.
That is a shocker. Absolutely not are we doing that. I'm like, okay. So it was really just a sum of all parts of everybody going there, because they all have different skills and they're not going to be the same as yours. And you accepting that you're not always the smartest person in the room is absolutely fine. And just being able to be, I guess, humble enough, if that's what that is, I don't really know, but she's just sitting there and going, okay, what do you think about this idea? And then sometimes they would go, that's really good. Let's do that. Or then they would come with an idea and I'd go, that sounds amazing. Let's do that. So then we would just all collaborate on how to build that out. And we did it all together. It isn't like I kind of just sat there when I went, hey, this is what we're going to do with the business. We did it all together the whole way through.
Can you teach someone to have that level of collaboration, or is it intrinsic to the person?
I think from an anecdotal evidence of my witnessing of our industry for a long time, and I mean finance, not just mortgage broking, is that management used to be heavily taught that you had to be the smartest person in the room. If you were a leader, you had to come in, and to be a leader, you had to kind of segment your role, and you had to give them all the confidence in the world that you were always right and you had all the answers all the time. And that was ingrained in leadership for a very long time. So you had to come in and say, I'm steering the ship and I know how it's going to go, and you're all safe and protected, and that's absolutely fine, and we can do this way. That really dispels collaboration, though, because they don't feel like they can have a voice in that part of the process or kind of contribute their own ideas. And so then the more entry-level roles were never asked, is this working? Does this work in this way? Are you enjoying this part of the process? Can we do this better? They were just waiting for upper management to come down and say, this is how this is done or that's done. And that was really ingrained in how everybody was leading every business everywhere for a very long time. And I think kind of coming out of banking, which was my experience in banking, we just all waited to be told what to do because it didn't matter. Didn't matter what you said because it's not going to impact anything anyway. Coming out of that, I just naturally didn't understand that approach. I just didn't get it. I just didn't understand why you always had to be the smartest in them and elevated above your team in that way. They're all going to have different skills and backgrounds and roles before they got to you. They're going to have seen different businesses. I do the same with my clients. I don't even delegate that just into the team. I'll do the same with my clients. I've got a lot of very experienced clients in business. I've got CEOs in there. I've got big business people. So they'll come and we'll talk about their lending, and I'll go, well, I gotcha. I've got a few questions. So I don't feel like that needs to be just, you need to rock up being the smartest person that day. You can really just lean on everybody in your circle and be curious. Just be curious.
Have you always been like this?
Curious, yes. Nosy, absolutely.
They're just deeply interested in the subject and wanting to
100%.
Like, what's that look like under there?
100%. Yes. For early years of finance, I would have been a pest. Looking back at my earlier roles, my managers probably hated me. I would have been so annoying. But I was just so curious. And anything, if I've already naturally found an interest in it, I am very curious. And I want to understand it all. I want to pull it apart, put it back together, and then I'll get about 80% of the way and go, that looks lovely, and then someone else will have to finish that because I'll simply get bored and move on.
You just tap out. You're like, I've done enough here.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
That was one of the questions in there was actually like, to achieve the level of success that you have, how hyper-focused do you need to be?
To about 80% of it.
About 80%. And then that's...
Yep. And this is where you need to hire for your flaws, honestly. If you know you're going to get to about the point that that's going to work really well, you've not executed the thing. It's not implemented. But the idea, you pulled it apart, you've put it back together and you go, that is going to absolutely land. Is it implemented? No, it is not. The implementation... terrible. I'm terrible at the implementation. Hire people that are good at it and love it. Love it.
Did you have to learn that the hard way, Katie?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lived experience.
So you just got stuck into projects, stopped 80% of the way through.
100%, my whole life.
Saw a pattern and you were like, I need some help here to get it. How'd you get the help?
Oh, diagnosis of ADHD and some medication didn't hurt. There's definitely, I think, a growth journey personally of being very honest with yourself. Your self-reflection has to be on point. And I do this with my team every single day. So I have reflection time in every day. And
every day?
Every day.
Right.
Every single day. And I make the team do it too. So every single day there is a point in the day where we just reflect. And all we're doing, and it can be good, bad, so it doesn't matter. It's just feedback. It's what didn't serve me today. What could have been better? What did I go, that was a great idea, didn't execute it? Why didn't I execute it? Because I didn't want to. I was bored. Simply moved on, getting dopamine somewhere else. all right, this is a pattern. How do we plug the hole? Someone else has got to love that part of they've got to love the 20%. And there's people that do that and they love it and that fills up their cup that day. Perfect. Find them.
And that's the trick to it. I'm trying to picture what this reflection time looks like. Does everyone just sit on the carpet and reflect it?
No, we just all sit around holding hands in a circle.
Yeah,
no.
like, do you go in the back and light a fire and just sit around?
No, nah. And that time's different for everybody. Some people are great in the morning. They're really good at kind of, I have morning people and that's the time of the day they've got most clarity. I'm useless in the morning. I'm way better of an afternoon. I'm much better to sit there and look back on my day and kind of go, where did that go really well? What didn't I love? And what were my pain points? And when I say pain points, the part of the process I'm talking about, and this could be anything, is where did you stall and procrastinate? Where did you just get that feeling in your gut and you've gone, I don't want to do it? And that's your trigger. That's your trigger to know that something's not working or something's wrong or something's not how it should be. And that could be, I don't want to make that phone call. Why don't you want to make that phone call? I don't feel like I have the answers if they ask me that, or I'm conflict avoidant, or whatever it is. And then you've pinpointed whatever's off the back of that trigger moment, and then we're addressing that. Only worry about that one thing. You're not going to solve the world's problems. Just worry about that one thing. And then you might focus on that for a week, month, whatever that looks like. And we've pinpointed that psychological barrier between whatever is driving, or stalling you between where you are and success. And then we start eliminating those things.
Can it always be fixed?
Yes. What you're not changing, you're choosing.
What you're not changing, you're choosing. And is it sometimes the fix is the person themselves, right? Or is it sometimes where it's like the fix is, I actually can't fix this. I need another person to help me fix this?
Sometimes it's a psychological barrier. There's confidence. There's so many different things. Some people require more data in their working history to feel confident. Other people come confident straight out the gate with no data at all.
Yes, everyone's, there is, right?
Yeah, we've got a spectrum and what that looks like. It's different for everybody. Absolutely. And it's just knowing what that is. If you're overconfident, but then you get it wrong because you've got no history or skill here, okay, well, that's your trigger point because now you've just said a bunch of stuff that's not accurate and now we've got to cover ground. So, okay, let's reflect on that. What do we do? But it's different everywhere. And sometimes that reflection is a process gap in the business. You know that person's fine. Like there is nothing more they could have done in that day. So then we'll have a conversation they'll go, I don't know. I don't know how I could have done any more here. So we'll kind of go through their whole thought process, sit down, talk about that whole thought process they had. And I'll sit there and go, yeah, you can't fix that because that's a process flaw. That's a gap in the business. We need to plug that gap. There's nothing you can do about that. We need to unwind that. We need a better operating rhythm for that to have worked. And then they find it. They find it through their lived experience of that day. So then we just sit down and go, brilliant, let's sort that out.
How did you learn all this stuff, Katie?
Curious.
Just continuing to dive deeper and deeper into the subject.
Yeah. And I think why is the best question ever? And you ask it 3 times over. The first time you ask it, whenever you give the answer, it's probably actually wrong because it's the answer you wanted it to be. The second and third are probably getting closer to accurate. So the deeper you keep asking why, you start to get more to the source of the truth, and then you can implement change. If you don't really have the honest answer there, you can't really do much with it. But again, if you're not curious, know your clients, know them so well, know their family structures, know what their goals are in life. When I'm having lending conversations, I'm not really talking about loans at all. I never talk about loans. I talk about their life. I'm talking about their goals. I'm talking about what are you trying to achieve. I'm talking about all of that. Lending's a byproduct of their life. That's all that is.
This conversation's got nothing to do with mortgage broking. If someone came into this conversation 20 minutes ago, they wouldn't even know that it's a broker podcast that we're on right now.
Yeah. Because it's just your life. Lending's just the byproduct of what you're doing with it.
100%. This is not how I expected the conversation to go. I'm here. I'm so here for it. I'm so here for it.
I can give you the technical, boring answers if you like that are much more surface level.
Nah, fuck that. I like the ones that we got now. All right. This is a tricky one.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think separates the top 1% of the industry from everyone else who participates in the industry?
I think the biggest, and I've struggled with this answer for ages. I get asked it a lot. And I think the hard thing for me on that answer has been a bit of unconscious bias, because it's kind of in the same in reverse. You don't know what you don't know, so you don't really ask the question that you don't know to ask.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same the other way around. And I've really had to do probably a bit more soul searching to go, I don't know. We just rock up and do the thing. And you've got to you've got to then try and really dissect what is the differentiators in that. And I don't really know that there is a one thing. It's the sum of all parts. It's the approach with team and the approach with clients and the curiosity for so many layers deeper than surface level. And it's the drive and, not being scared to fail. And, saying I love the most is failure isn't failing, quitting is. And if you're happy to just not quit, you'll work it out eventually. You've just got, 99 ways of feedback to get it right the 100th time. And that's fine. It's okay. That's absolutely no issue with that at all. And I think that the confidence potentially to kind of go through all those opportunities of feedback and view them as opportunities for feedback instead of challenges, and, the mindset of phrasing that in your own brain and go, oh, this is just all too hard. Or is it, or is it just a different new normal, or are we pivoting, or whatever? It doesn't really, I don't think there's characteristic traits for sure of the top 1% of everything. And, you can absolutely say, drive and passion and resilience and capacity and all of those sorts of things. But there are so many things in there that I think are the sum of all parts. You can be one of those things and it still wouldn't get you there.
Have you always dealt with hardship, difficulties, challenges in the manner that you do with it now, where it's constructive?
I think they're very early on in my career, early 20s. I was a bank manager at 21. So at that point, I was probably definitely more aggressive, I think, and other people's lack of urgency and energy level and commitment was very confusing to me. And I didn't understand why they were okay existing at 50% all the time. That was very odd. I didn't come at that with a level of understanding at that point in my life. I was waiting for my frontal lobe to develop. It was just absolute confusion and then just annoyance. And it took, looking back now, several kids later, I'm like, no, I get it. You're tired. It's all right. Don't worry about it. But it took a while it's just the maturity of that, I think. But I don't think that goes away either. I think there's another version of me 10 years that'd say something different about me now too. And I think the maturity as you go through different life experiences, you kind of just get a bit more patience and understanding for other people's experience. And instead of and that's when I started getting curious, because I didn't understand them. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand why they were like that. And so that's where, after I was like, this just doesn't make sense to me. So very early on from 18, as soon as I entered kind of the corporate world, everyone was a mystery to me. I knew nothing about anything. And I was just like, okay, well, the only way for me to close that gap is to ask a lot of questions and understand who they are as people. And so I just did that. And I didn't stop doing that because now there's still, and I don't think you ever stop doing that. There's always people with more experience than you and different lives than you and all of that sort of thing. So, you know, the more you get to sit there and go, tell me all about your brain. I can't wait to hear about it in your life and how you live your day. And then you go, that would be so great to do with my team. That would be so beneficial to do with my team. That would really help them. So you just impart all of those bits and pieces and take the bits, and then there's other bits you go, I don't reckon I can do that. I'll leave that one alone or whatever. You just start accumulating data.
When you noticed that curiosity helped you just get better at life in general, did you purposely become more curious? Like, do you
I think
push
you do.
curiosity now?
I think you do it I think you start doing it a bit subconsciously. I almost said unconsciously, don't know, sleep. I think you start doing it more subconsciously. And then once you go, actually, I'm finding out some really cool stuff here. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to keep pestering all of these people. And you can do it in such a social way that you're just hanging out with people and they're like, do you want to, you know, catch up for a coffee? I'm like, yeah, I do. But it's probably not how they think that's going to go. They've just been interviewed for an hour. Like, I'm just learning about them and not in a, you know, clipped way. Just
pull out a clipboard,
tell me about one time. No, it's just, you know, genuinely sitting there and asking the questions for the purpose of wanting to hear the answer. And I do that with everyone in my life. I do it with friends and family, everyone I'm interacting with. If I'm sitting there and learning about what's going on, you learn so much if you actually have an intent to learn.
I've got a selfish question. Do you do it with the kids?
Yes. They're the most honest.
Tell me everything. I need to know everything immediately.
They are the most honest little conductors of feedback you've ever had in your life. They do not care about your feelings. Yeah, 100%. I do it heaps with the kids.
How does that go?
They love it too. My daughter in particular, which is the karma I was well deserved. She's a little carbon copy of myself.
Yes.
She is very honest, but absolutely, I guess get peer-reviewed surveys from my kids as me as a mum, you know, like I'll open the floor, I'll sit there and say, we just have question time, and they do it back now too. But we just sit there and I'll kind of give them a list like, you know, do you love it when mum does this? Or what do you love that mum does? Or what don't you love that mum does? Or whatever. Or tell me when you're doing this at school, what did you do? We have a question box actually at dinner time, and it's thought-provoking questions.
Like predetermined questions that you pull them out and it's like it's a random question that you can ask. Yeah,
absolutely. And one of them, you know, you pull out and some of them are very basic, but the answers are very insightful. We pulled out one and it said, what kind of flower would you be? And the answers absolutely were a catalyst to all of my children. My son, who's a beautiful little soul, said he would be a rose. My daughter, who is 7, by the way, this week, she said she'd be a Venus flytrap.
I was going to say one of them.
And then my 4-year-old said she'd be an alligator.
An alligator?
Yep. So I was like, what good feedback. This just really nailed down everybody's personalities. And then there's others in there that you go, that is some of the most wholesome core human being answers you will ever hear in your life. And it also kind of just stops you for a second because all the noise of what adults think are really important, you go, that does not mean shit. Like that answer from that child is the essence of a human being.
It's not filtered.
It is not filtered. It isn't fake. It is exactly who they are. And you go, I'm gonna take that with me tomorrow. That was a bloody good answer. And that as a human being is exactly who we're supposed to be. And then on the flip side, they can be tiny narcissists. Like you kind of get both.
If you had to give me a tip to do that, I've got 3 little girls.
Yep.
The littlest one's the biggest terror.
Yep.
What if you had to give me a tip to be able to do this with my daughters? How would you teach me how to do it?
I think that the art in it is honestly just genuine questioning with them and just being so curious about their thoughts and then empowering the answer and really embellishing their answers, going, that's so amazing that you've just said that. I'm so curious as to what made you think that. What goes through your mind as you're telling me? Tell me how that you felt when you did that. Start labeling emotions in there and go, okay, so you're telling me that you feel like this. Tell me how that come from. Tell me the experience that made you feel like this. And then once they start opening up and talking in that way, my son, who's the eldest, he will say, hey, Mum, can we just sit down and have, Mum and Logie time so we can have questions? And we go, yeah, absolutely. And then he'll ask me a question and, you just create this really organic conversation, but you just start being curious about their day and their brains.
And I am assuming that you're like fully present when you're having these conversations.
You have to be.
You're not
100%.
thinking. You're not thinking about focus. You're not thinking about nothing in the world except exactly what's in front of you.
Nah, in those questions, you're definitely like your phone's nowhere near you.
Just throw it away.
Yeah, nah. You're just sitting there. You might be around the fire. We do that heaps in winter. We'll have fire and sit around the fire. All these different, or bedtime. I'll do a lot of it at bedtime when we're just kind of winding down. They're getting ready for bed and we'll just be talking there. But any real opportunity, I do it heaps in the car when it's just us in the car as well, because you can't do anything and, may as well. But really any opportunities that you can get to know who those little people are as human beings in their brain. And some of the stuff that they say to you is so insightful for your own life because you forget a little, like you forget the imagination of kids and the creativity of that. But it just turns into a very wholesome thing to take into your next day and very, you don't get to hide behind that too much. You can't be scared of the answers they're going to give you either. Or you can be scared, but you can't let them know that you really shoot yourself over it.
I got 3 days with the girls ahead of me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it this weekend.
You will find out.
I'm going to have a red hot crack at this.
Than you think you will.
I'm going to text you. I'm going to text you.
I'm so
hopefully I
interested.
do it right. Hopefully I do it right. It sounds very interesting. Did you read books to learn any of this stuff? Were there particular books that you've read that have been life-changing for you where you've learned these sorts of skills?
Yeah, I'll consume content anywhere that I can get it. I will find people that are particularly skilled in all of these areas that I find super interesting. I'll, spend time with coaches or whatever. I'll do really anything. If I've got a hyper interest at any given point in anything, and parenting for me, as I was going through that journey of as a mum, there was so much in there that I was so invested in, and I learned so much, and I'll just consume content like nothing else. As soon as I'm interested in it, I'll just do it for days and days and days, and it's all I'll think about. And then I'll move on to kind of something else. That's, I still obviously do it with the kids now as well. And my daughter went through an ADHD and autism diagnosis. So, learning that journey for her as well. I learned so much through there, and how brains work, and how all the different parts of your brain works, how your amygdala works, like all of it. And then how you can impart like that into your team and their psychology, and how you coach them is very, very different. But I didn't start out with an intent to go, okay, for me to be the best leader in a mortgage broking company, I'm going to go learn about amygdalas. Like, it's not how that went. It's just how your natural interest in topics just start to align into all facets of your life. And that's what I meant earlier when I said, for me, it is all just your life. You're learning about things from everywhere that has good impacts elsewhere. Things that I can teach my children about wealth creation. I know exactly how to retire them before they've even started. I know how to retire them through property and wealth. I know how to do that. Am I going to do it? No, they can work for it. But I know how to coach it with them. I know how to help them with all of that. And so things that I've learned through being a business owner and, leading other people and all of those things, and the things they say now, having watched me done different things, they would never have said in any other capacity. My daughter, who's obviously younger, I was unwell one day, and she's like, well, lucky you're the boss, because really everyone else just does everything anyway. And I was like, oh, no. That's not at all how that goes. And then my son, who's older, said, no, like it happens the other way around. If you're looking, you have to look after everybody. That's your job. You have to look after them. And so he's picked up that my nature with the team is that they need to be cared for. They need to be looked after. They need to be protected. Everybody. And he has then kind of got that version of his head of what leadership looks like. So they really just mesh together.
This is crazy. Has your journey in business always been like this, or was there times where it was, a commercial pursuit, or there was ones and zeros about it, or it's always just been artistic to some degree for you?
Profit has never been my purpose, really, ever. Money creates choices, and that's great, but it's not your fuel. Like, it's not my fuel. It's not the thing that makes me go, okay, great, I want to hit X amount of settlement. I mean, really, if I focused on that, I probably should have done 500, not 496. If I was really like,
okay, you could have made it over the halfway mark, surely.
Yeah, I know. If I was really focusing on it, that's what I probably should have done. But no, not really. Like, there's definitely a strategic outlook of commercial viability, so that I know that we've got opportunity for scale and development, and we can do all the things I would like to do and bring the business in that way, and make sure that we can do more of what I like doing. Love coaching people, love the team, I'd love to have more people we can help in there that aren't the traditional version of mortgage brokers either. We have a lot of people in there that I would say in any other right, like they don't look like that sole operator mortgage broker. They don't look like that at all. Their personalities are completely different to that. And I love that. And I would love more of them. So there's a commercial viability perspective where we go, yes, do we need to be strategic? And, do I stay focused on that? Absolutely not, which is why you have operations team that does that, because otherwise I'll just do my thing, which is probably more creative or artistic, I suppose. I won't focus on that as heavily. Do you need people that are heavily skilled in that to scale at a bigger level? Yes, you do. You do need strategic outlook, that people in there are going, this is important. Policies are important. Procedures are important. Operating rhythms are important. You need to have people embed that down. You need to have, HR processes. You need to have all of these things. There needs to be an actual, like, deeply grained strategic approach to the business, and get that right. Am I the person that's going to execute that? Nah, I'm not. I am not. Am I aware of it though? Yes. So you bring in people that are good at it, and you just hire people that are smarter than you in different areas of the business, and you let them do their thing. You just trust them implicitly at that.
What piece of advice would you give for someone who was starting out today, Katie?
Join an experienced business, definitely. It's very hard now. When I first started, I mean, in finance, I started so long ago now. Oh my God. Back in the day too, it's terrible now, but everyone used to say, even in the bank, which is horrible, the analogy from leadership used to be pulse and a pay slip and you'd get lending, which is horrible. And then we went through a Royal Commission, obviously. And even since that, for mortgage brokers, then we went through BID. So the compliance frameworks now, which are hugely important to have, but understanding it, navigating that, making sure you've got a really good understanding of what that looks like, I think are very important. And trying to do that on your own would be so hard. And a lot of people, I think, egos get in the way of this. It's the biggest problem for personal growth is ego, because I want to do it by myself. I want it to be mine. I want my name on the door.
I was about to say, some people just want their name on the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. But it'll now take you 10 years to learn what you would have in one. So, yeah, sure, you've had your name on the door for 10 years, but it's been a rough 10 years. Like, it's it's hard. It's not the easiest journey anyway. Trying to do that by yourself, high tide rises all boats. You don't need to do it alone. Don't feel like, just because it's a different brand, you're not part of something bigger that you personally created still. It's still your brand. Even when I was at Westpac, it was my brand. The relationships I had then, I still have now.
Bloody hell. Your personal brand never leaves you. Like Katie Thomas, that sticks with you forever, right? For eternity. That never goes away.
Yep.
That's a really good way to put it. Whether or not you're at the bank, you're in another brokerage, you're running your own brokerage, that's a business, or that's a commercial bank, a corporate bank.
Yeah.
But the person remains the person forever.
100%. Absolutely.
I really like that.
Yeah, 100% it does. So you don't need to make it harder on yourself by trying to do the rest of it all alone. You don't, your systems and processes and the automations and technology and everything that's being built in there. We're going through a massive wave of change with AI, and we've, invested pretty heavily into that and automated a lot of stuff that we can automate. And trying to do all of that straight out the gate by yourself and then navigate the rest of it while you're trying to build a book, while you're trying to build relationships. And a lot of these relationships are locked up. That's hard. And then you've got other businesses where you've got an overflow of lead capacity from those relationships. Just benefit from that. You don't, if you still want to have all your own stuff do, absolutely, that's great. But it doesn't need to be as hard as that, I don't think. You can definitely come in and learn and grow with other people. You don't need it to be all by yourself.
And you've touched on a really important point there. You've obviously grown a lot and you've scaled a lot and you've built a really good system and team in the back end. You've got the culture and everything's really good. You've always been oversubscribed for lead flow, haven't you? You've always had more leads than you could handle.
Yep.
And that's all been clients and referral driven. Largely, you've never done any other sort of marketing or lead getting.
No.
And even the referral partners that you've acquired, that's come organically just from you living your life, right? Getting out and about and doing work.
Yeah. I do hardly anything at the moment on social media. I've never done any paid advertising anywhere, and I've never done paid referral lead gen things. I've never done that, and I've never paid a referrer for a deal either, and I've never vice versa. I've never been paid and they've never paid me. So it's it's just genuine relationships. It's just people that you meet and you go, we just talk the same talk. We are on the same level. We're talking about the same things. We care the same about the outcome we're trying to achieve. And, as two people, would we like to hang out with each other? Absolutely. So that's it. That's it. That is that. There really isn't anything more to it than that. Just, finding your people and the relationships that you try to push that are not organic like that are very surface level. They're probably not completely genuine. I wouldn't say are solidified relationships in there because you go, we both do a good job, but just as people, you just aren't completely aligned. You'll push a point more than the other potentially. So you just go, you're just not for me. And there are relationships now for sure because of the network of people we know, we'll get approached and asked to do business with their business. And if we do not align, we will not do it. If the cost of that relationship is your integrity and values, the cost is too high. I won't do it. I won't work with them.
Is there a way to teach somebody to operate like this? Because it's intrinsic to you, right? It's just part of your being. If you had to teach someone to operate in that manner, how would you do it?
I think the thing that most people struggle with is fear of saying no. No, you're not a fit for me. And the learning is once fear goes, if you're not scared anymore,
What happens? What happens?
Yeah. You're not scared of telling them no. You're not scared of saying no to that referral relationship. You're not scared of saying, no, I'm not going to do that deal. No, I'm not doing it like that. No, we're not going to do it that way. No, we don't have to do it just because they said no. Like, once you're not scared anymore of someone's opinion of you for that, once you're not scared of, rocking up in, room of important people and going, here's my opinion. If you're not scared of that, then a lot of things can come off the back of it because you're not really holding yourself to the constraints of others. And that's what limits, I think, what that feedback is from other people. You're not sitting there and, there's a whole table and you're sitting there for a round table and they all go, no, you're very lovely and we love working with you. And I'm like, I got a list actually. Like, let's talk about this. But the good change comes off the back of it. And you don't need to do that in an abrasive way. You can still do all of these things from a place of genuine intent and care and go, I want to help you make this better. Like, I want this to work brilliantly for the both of us, or I don't want to work with you at all, or whatever it is. But if you're not scared of, what people are going to do or say, or you're worried about that, or you're not scared of going to your team, is this a good idea? They go, no. Go, nah, you're right. It isn't.
You almost love it. I can see it in your eyes. You almost like it when they
because they deliver that no enthusiastically. Let me tell you, they do not hold back on that no.
Do you just throw curveballs in there sometimes just to see if you can trick him? Like he's a real shit idea. I wonder if I can trick him to get it over the line.
We're past that. They know me too well. They know me way too well at this point. She is full of shit. That is absolutely. She has no intention of doing this.
Oh, far out. This is good.
Yeah.
What's the future look like for you?
I think we'll just continue to do everything that we've already done, but at scale. We'll just build this out. We'll continue to build it out. We'll do more locations. We'll do more areas. We'll do more people. We'll just bring people into the fold of everything that we continue to do and find our people that like operating in the same way, are happy to do things maybe a little bit differently and doing things that are mission driven and purpose driven and do that. And we'll continue to find all of them and then we'll, just keep building on that. And we still have an overflow of lead problem. Good problem to have. So scaling, again, either we shut the book from here or we continue to scale. So even that has to be sorted outside of the rest of it. But I'd really love more people in the mix of, and the same types of people that we have. We have such great people in there and I'd love that to just be bigger and more breadth than, females in the industry. I'd love to see more females in the industry. I'd love to create a place that the more females can be there and they don't have to sacrifice, their home life with their babies and things like that. I've got, a broker in there. She's just come back from maternity leave. I've got another, she's got a little bubba. She's one. Like we've got all these little, families in there. And I'd love for there to be more of that. Absolutely. I think that's brilliant. And not everybody has to be me, thank God. Like we don't need more of me. Not everybody needs that. But you can kind of still be part of it and then let, me do this bit and then people in there can still benefit from all of those other great relationships in the team.
Do you think you'll still keep writing as you build up the business? You love writing?
Yeah, I love being a broker.
Yeah.
I love the relationships. Again, like I said earlier, that the relationships in there, though, you've forgotten that they were clients. They are just people in your life now. And, I've got so many people that I've built out such long-term relationships with that would be very difficult to just go, well, I'm not your broker anymore.
Yeah, I take so much energy. I take all my energy from the people I talk to every day. Do you know what I mean? So I'm assuming it's a pretty similar thing for you where you might leave work with more energy than when you started if you've you've had conversations with people 100%. That you really get along with all day. Yeah.
Which is why I'm so protective of the culture, of external culture, which is why we won't, if you're not our people externally, you're not messing with my bandwidth today. I'm not doing it. I'm absolutely not doing it. Same with clients. We will not have clients in the business that are not highly respectful to the team. They do not fit the mold of our typical client type. We have the most beautiful clients ever, and they're lovely, and we have great relationships with them. And if they're not going to be like that, they don't stay in our business.
This is why you can mold and merge your two worlds, your business and your life all into the one thing, because you love hanging out with these people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You'd hang out with them if there was no business to do. This is where the pieces of the puzzle are starting to come together. You've basically crafted it in a way where you'd do this anyway if there was no home loans there.
100%. The referral parties, I'll hang out with them. The team, hang out with them for sure. The clients, bunch of them hang out with them. So I'm really just hanging out with a bunch of mates all day. It's really all I'm doing. We just called it a business and put a sign on the door.
Oh, shit. I always ask one last question of everyone. If you had to give a piece of advice to little Katie, what would you tell her?
I think for me, it would have been, it's just okay to be who you are earlier. It took me a bit longer to do that. I think you can just be exactly who you are. You can be curious straight away. You can not be scared of no straight away. You can, be opinionated straight away. Won't serve you all the time, but you can just be that. You don't need to conform to what the industry thinks you're supposed to be like, and world in general. But I think, as probably more so as a female, even, to be honest, I think even my generation so much, it's kind of, you kind of have this constraint of, you're supposed to talk like this, and you're supposed to look like this, and you're supposed to be like this, and you're supposed to behave like this. And then when you get in a corporate world, you're definitely not supposed to be like any of that. And it took me a little bit in the career to kind of go, oh God, this is tough, because my personality does not align to all of these things. So I'm trying to create this persona of myself that isn't that. And then I gave up. I just gave up on that bit, and then just started to becoming more of the unmasked version of that. And that honestly is really where more of the success happened once I gave that up.
I was going to say, is that where your trajectory just took off, when you're like, nah, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to give to the world.
Yep. Be more genuine from the outset. And it's not that you're trying to be disingenuous to people. It's just you're trying to be who you think that you're supposed to be in that world. And in banking, obviously, you're supposed to behave yourself. So,
are you?
I think you're supposed to. This is the feedback I've been given. But once I gave up on that bit and went, nah, God, it's so much energy and effort and all of the things to be like, you're supposed to be this elevated leader, and you're supposed to be, don't swear and behave and just do all of these things. Oh, fuck that. We'll do it like this. And once you've done that, you find your people and it works. They work well with you, and everything is so easy because you've gotten rid of all of that. If I did it earlier, would have been easy earlier. But again, it's fear. Fear stopped you doing that because you're like, oh, I'm supposed to be like that. Like, if I'm not like that, they'll probably fire me or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's fear. Fear stops you doing that. If you get rid of that and you can just be way more genuine, you build out authentic relationships.
There we go. All right. I can see we've been looked at. We're tapping out for time. I really appreciate you coming on and talking to me,
Thank you.
Katie.
Good.
That did not go how I expected it to go. It really didn't. I really didn't expect it to. I think you're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly. For anyone who's watching, Katie and I only met an hour and 34 minutes ago. So I'm finding out this is the same as all of you guys are. We're doing it live. That's
Awesome.
what
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you sharing.
No worries.
And thank you.
Oh, good. Thank
Done.
you.
There we go.
Wrapped.
Wrapped.